republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated and welcome each and every one of you. Also want to welcome those who will watch us as our first live stream here at Stanton City Hall for our regular meeting, February 13, 2025. I want to first of all just thank Ian Morton. He kind of got everything all set up for us so that we can have this live stream. Also, Ann Snowden, she's back there. She's our zoning officer, and so she's doing double duty. She's running it for us, so we appreciate that. Call to order. I'm going to approve our January 9, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for that? Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. This time we'll turn to public comments. Any public comments at this time? Yes.
Yes, I'd like to thank all of the people that have been taking care of all of us over all of these storms, you know, plowing the streets, doing all the runs of keeping people safe. And every single person, EMS, fire, police, everybody. Really a wonderful thank you, but let's not forget all of our neighbors. I know I personally have neighbors that have been so kind to me and have come out and shoveled snow and ice and all of that. Let's not forget to thank our neighbors too.
Good, thank you. Anyone else?
I'd like to speak to you and the council about the garbage pickup. What are we supposed to do? When you pick it up, the day it's supposed to be just picked up and they don't show up.
Well, what most people have done is they've called us, and then we call Rumpke, and it's the last time. And I just go back to the last one. Of course, was a weather situation, and they fast forwarded everything. But on the particular day they were supposed to pick it up, if they don't pick it up, people have called us. We then call Rumpke, and then they usually go out and pick them up.
Well, this Tuesday, that's when we're supposed to get picked up, out there Tuesday mornings.
Yes, I believe so.
And me and some of my neighbors, we don't set ours out till the next morning, on Tuesday morning. We don't put it out on Monday night. Because when they go up the road, they pick up the right-hand side up to Brown Street and turn around and do the trailer park and all that, and Greenway Road and out Dirksen Lane. Then they come back by the house. So we got plenty of time to take it out, actually go further. And I was going to do that this Tuesday. Of course, it snowed a little bit, and I didn't know. I thought, well, they may not run anyway, and they didn't. So I called down there Wednesday morning, yesterday morning, and they said that they went through at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mr. Martin, is that a regular thing, or is that just this last time?
Well, they've done tricks like that before. And another thing, me and my neighbors, we live, you know where I live, and
Yeah, of
there's
course.
ditches deep, and our driveway slopes some. They set that cart down, and some of them drivers, they take off and it runs backwards over in the ditch. You have to get it out of the ditches and wash it up and get the mud out of it, and that ain't no fun. And then when they dump the front end over in the back, they spill some, and some of them will pick it up and some of them don't. They're not very thorough on their garbage pickup. Y'all need to work with them some.
Is this something that you told us before, or is this the first time?
No, this is the first time.
Okay. Yeah, and again, what most people do, again, if there are issues, they'll call them down here, and then we will contact Rumpke and seek to resolve the issue.
Okay. We're paying a good price for that, and they should be a better, they need to do a better service for the money.
If I remember correctly, was this Tuesday they went early?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had sent out, I think, a little blurb about that, because of weather situations. And so they actually went very early on Tuesday.
The
Well, I'll
problem,
tell
I
you
think,
another
is people like James didn't have Facebook. So
Right.
No, I don't have
I think if we had a way,
I thought we
I
put
don't
it
know
on,
if we could say.
some City of Stanton Facebook in there.
it's all fake. I don't know if there's a way we can do that.
Yeah, cause she didn't send the notice till Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. So it's just one of those situations, we hope it doesn't happen again.
Well, another problem they have is when they give that, had the last raise, is that your full last?
Yes.
Is he coming due again?
We got another year, we got another
We
year.
got
When is he gonna come due again?
26.
26.
This month?
No, next year.
Oh, 50,
26.
you said 26, you're at 20, I thought you meant, sorry.
2026, sorry.
That was the biggest raise this town ever had. That was up 50%, went from $14 to $21.40.
And it
And-
was all because of fuel
Fuel is a-
surcharge.
Well, they sold you all that, and it
Well-
was, fuel was high, but in 2 months after they done that, fuel went dropping, it's back where it used to be.
Yeah, well, the
So they
surcharge,
done real
yeah,
good.
the surcharge is a national,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's set by the national, so it fluctuates.
and it hasn't barely went down since we,
I don't know whether they still got that little blonde or not, used to, when I was on the council, she'd come over, and she'd
She's
try
not
to
there,
say
she's not-
anything.
she's not with me.
She's not
She's not with them no more, was
But there's nobody else.
I'm telling you, she
Dave,
was quick
I don't think you wanna go there. Let's stay away from
Well,
that.
I know her, I was here when they still recontract
Yeah,
done, I know her
yeah.
well.
But there's
I
nobody,
think-
there's nobody else that
I
gets
think
it,
you all
so.
ought to make them aware, my neighbor did call.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
Okay,
and Mount Sterling, and, they told her to be over and pick it up, and me and my neighbor set it out there, and it's still sitting there tonight.
okay.
So they're not doing what they
I
say they're
think
doing.
Joy emailed them.
Joy did email her, so
Yeah.
we made them aware of the
Well,
situation.
they're not doing their job,
Yeah.
I'm saying you all need to make, we're paying the price, and y'all
Yeah.
need to take care of us.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I add something? On Rumpke, it's just not the city, it's the county also. Throughout the weather episodes and stuff, there's garbage hadn't been picked up for a month. We've called them multiple times, and they say, yeah, we'll come over and get it.
They don't
did.
do it.
So what we had to do, we got solid waste to go out and pick these people's garbage up that was complaining, and, we sent a Rumpke bill.
Willie, you need to do that, come pick yours up.
You want me to come pick yours up?
No,
4 o'clock in the morning?
no, not really.
Not
Let me
really.
tell you one other thing. The truck that's supposed to pick ours up, he run early, cause he knowed he had to go where nobody's had it out, and out back to Mount Sterling. And at 10:30, I'm telling you, God's truth, the big truck come out to the nursing home, he could come out there,
Yeah.
but ours couldn't pick it up. Now, that's the deal.
That's because of them big dumpsters out there. It's-
I know it, but if he can run that truck out there, they can pick ours up on regular schedule.
Well, I don't wanna say, James, they're against you, but I don't think so.
Well,
We'll try to get it resolved for you. How's
I
that?
hope so.
Okay, any other public comments? Anyone? Okay, next item is the mayor's report, just 2 or 3 things to kind of update you on. I did get a letter about, we was kind of concerned about the Marshall Street extension, and so the update that we got from Melissa is that the project is still waiting on Delta Gas to let us know if they're going to relocate the line that is near the project. They met with end of October. With the winter weather shutdown, they will not start until sometime in the spring, as it will be mostly earthwork that occurs. So basically, they ran into an issue, I guess, with the gas line being very near that project, and so they've got to resolve that, first. Did get a letter on the Stanton Soccer Field Improvements Project. Again, where we're going from natural turf to synthetic turf. Dear Mayor Means, on behalf of Governor Randy Bashir and the staff of the Department for Local Government, I am pleased to congratulate you on your selection of the recipient of the Land and Water Conservation Funds. Preliminary approval, now that's the key word. Preliminary approval has been given to your LWCF project, reference above in the amount of $250,000. And this approval is based on your acceptance of the conditions outlined below, and there are 8 of them. So I'll be working through that next week, and then we have to give a response to them by March 15th. And again, in a little further note, please note your application had received preliminary approval. So we're not quite there. We got one more at least thing that we've got to work through, and then the National Park Service will give us the final approval so that we can move forward. But I think it'd be a great thing for us, and hopefully we'll be able to get that done. Another thing is just an update on the This is the airport I&I sewer project. Again, got a letter on that, or a note on that. And the process is that they've notified the Division of Water, and they will issue the final approval letter after their final review. They never give you a date as to when that'll take place, but at least it's in its final review. And then as they send us a letter for us to be able to go out and obviously start that project, we'll put it out to bid. So at least those are some updates about what kind of is happening here. The Halls Lane right-of-way project update, most of that will take place after school, or I mean when school is done for the year, but they're in the process of beginning that here within the next 2 or 3 months, and then they'll really get rolling on it after school, is through for the year. One thing that we had happen here, which I think is a good thing, we've been kind of working on some homes that are abandoned or, been sitting there for any number of years. And over on 25 East Railroad Street, we just had a home demoed, there you go, demoed. And so that's a good thing. So we continue to work toward that. City Hall here, we're gonna clean, seal cracks and parking lot, paint parking lines and directional arrows. And weather permitting, we're going to be doing that on February the 22nd and 23rd. Also, for new home construction at 47 and 51 Bright Street, broken ground on 2 homes there, so that's a good thing. And then, if I have, this is the city park. I don't know if Tommy's going to say it. This is the city park dog park sign. So they got the fence up, they're getting all the lettering and all that done, and so hopefully they'll, looking for kind of a dedication here coming up sometime in March, and so kind of a good thing to see that kind of move along. Okay, next is Brandon Farmer with the Bigfoot.
Yeah, I'm here tonight on behalf of the Bigfoot Festival Committee and not the pictures. Really, I just want to give you all an update on kind of the expectations, the scale of it, kind of what we're seeing with the numbers and the projections, and just the anticipated volume of people coming in here. So I approached the fiscal court earlier in the week and kind of put them on notice as well, requesting any kind of assistance and providing resources to guide these people in and out, and assist with any kind of emergency management need. I spoke with Grant and actually popped into the Stanton PD and kind of talked to the guys over there. But really, I mean, at this juncture, with the numbers and the projection we're seeing, we're looking at a minimum of 20,000 people coming in to the Powell County. And
What are the dates of it? What's the
it's
dates?
30th.
30, 31.
People start coming in 30th, because we have.
Friday, Saturday.
But yeah, Saturday's going to be whenever the bulk of the people are going to be here.
Okay.
So 31st. So yeah, I was just wanting to see if I could request some Stanton to I guess aid us with the police department and to kind of direct some of this traffic and deal with some of these visitors. And I got to go to Danny Rogers. I'm going to request the sheriff as well and kind of get all hands on deck.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem for us. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a significant influx of people, so I just kind of want people to kind of have some awareness about it.
It's kind of like the big festival we had.
Well, no, that's twice as big as ours.
Yeah.
We get about 10.
Mhm.
If they get 20, if you talk to people about parking,
I think Lynn Sims has tentatively agreed to open up that part of her property to allow for parking and stuff like that. So
okay.
we're working out, so we're fine-tuning those details right now.
Well, manual and
Yeah.
wheels if you don't.
When is your next meeting?
What is that?
We're tentatively Monday night, but we're trying to move it to Sunday. We're trying to do a site visit at the lodge Sunday afternoon and may do the meeting there. If not there, then it will be at the depot Monday night.
Yeah,
We're starting to meet twice a month now.
Yeah, we're currently planning the VIP dinner experience at this moment, so that's kind of what we're focusing on. But yeah.
And for folks who may not know, this is Hugh Stump. He's the tourism director, and so he's with us tonight. Anything else?
No, that's it. I just want to kind of let y'all know. I appreciate it. And good stuff.
Okay.
Anything.
He'll be here before we know it.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 6 is approve the audit for year ending June 30, 2024. Do I have a motion on that?
Make a motion.
All right, second. Okay, all in favor? Okay. All right, we'll go back to public comments. I see Bill Wesley, our state rep, is here. And we want to give you just a few minutes to share with us, if you could.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Mayor, thank you. Sorry, I was running a little late this morning, Frankfurt.
it's all right.
Just wanted to come and address this, the art grant that you guys had.
Mhm.
And, I know it was like, what, 6 or 7 years held up? So there was a, $700,000 that was misjudged on that. I got your copies here. And so, if you want, I can read some of that. It says in August 2019, Stanton applied for the ARC grant requesting 1.3 million, some change. There were no matching funds. The project was 100% funded by ARC. The original scope of work, and that's what we're going to be talking about, the original scope, it was misappropriated with 700,000 added on to it. And that's why the ARC pulled that grant. Not blaming nobody, not pointing at nobody. When it was checked out, that's the purpose of the grant that was pulled. Now, I talked to the commissioner of the ARC. He will try to help you guys get this money, but what you're going to need, you're going to have some numbers together for whatever you're in need of. So you're going to need it's an MIS or MSI number, if I'm pronouncing that right. Is that right, Scott?
I'm not sure. That sounds right.
MSIE number. But anyways, it says the grant was awarded by ARC and the DLG. That's the Department of Local Government. Serves as the basic agency administering the project under the CDBG guidelines. The initial grant agreement was executed in November of 2019. The project received environmental clearance and release of funds in the spring of 2020. Throughout that 2020, the draw requests, mostly for engineering fees, were requested and paid by the DLG in the amount of $110,000. January 21st, the easement at a standstill due to COVID, per email from Paul Nesbitt. Easement was completed around March of 22. I'm going to skip on down. I'm not going to read all this. I'll give it to you, Mayor, if you want. May of 23, the email from Jennifer Peters, upon the response concerning the availability of the DLG request, that the SOO or SOW resort back to the smaller SOW that fits within the ARC budget. April 13th of 23. The new scope of work submitted to the DLG by Brad Greenwell, the engineer, which you probably have to get a hold of him. That, the way I understand, that grant was submitted, but if you guys don't have all the numbers, that's going to be the holdup. It's nothing that anybody's holding up anything on their desk, I promise you. It is just that this grant was already pulled according to whatever happened years ago. The 700,000, and I'll read that in a second. It says on July 6th, 22 bids were opened, 2 bids were received. Both were over the budget, around 700,000, but no bids were accepted. So, in other words, there was things that was added to the bid. I'll give you this. It was added onto it, came over 700,000, and they was questioning why that there was so much money added to this. There was nothing that was going to basically show what the work was going to be for. Does that make sense? Anybody got any questions on that?
Yeah, let me just update you on this, Bill. I got a letter or a note from Brad Greenwell, and this particular project is in its final review for the Division of Water.
Yeah.
So everything has been worked out to the best of my knowledge, and so once they give us the state permit, then we will be able to move ahead.
Okay, good deal,
Yeah.
good deal. This is the other part of that.
Alright.
Do you guys need me to do anything? Do you guys need me to set up a meeting for the commissioner to come in and talk to you guys or help you out with any paperwork?
It's up to-
I will take all the help we can get, you know.
Yeah, just.
Or, listen, I'll have every one of you.
In terms of grants, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, different grants available.
Yeah.
He said he'll talk to you guys on whatever you're in need of.
Yeah.
But, you know, I went to Clay City a couple months ago and I asked them, you know, just for an example, if they got 2 bids just for the sidewalks that they was needing, you know, we had grants available for that. And so there's different water projects. And, I was on the phone today for the City of Stanton for the water needs down here at the plant, but
Beach Fork.
yeah, so I couldn't remember which one. I know you got 3 here. So House Bill 763, we have over $200 million available in that house or in that funding for water and sewage infrastructure. But it takes people applying for that. And so there's money available. It just depends on what you guys are in need of. And if you want, I'll set you up an appointment to talk to the commissioner of local government. And they'll point you in the right direction what you can apply for.
And I know Eddie and I, we're gonna have a meeting here next week.
Monday morning, 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Basically, what we're gonna do is bring in Beach Fork Water, River wastewater, Stanton, Clay City, and Powell Valley Water, and sit down and discuss what we need to apply for as a regional grant.
especially infrastructure.
Yeah.
We're
That's the
looking
key.
for, you know, right now, Beach Fork is pumping at capacity. They have no more that they can do, so.
Now, I don't know if they already received the money, but I know that they was awarded, what, $2 million for some of the things.
I don't know.
So I got a couple of emails that.
Yeah, that's up to that.
So I don't know if you guys already been awarded that. So it just takes.
Just in
people-
letter form,
What was that?
letter form, we got a letter on
Okay.
Yeah.
So it just takes people applying for whatever they're in need of. And I mean, there's plenty of grants up there for stuff right now in the budget that's available. So it just depends what you guys need and we'll help you get it.
it. Okay, appreciate it. Anything from the council? Okay.
Guys, have a good day.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Go back.
Thanks for.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind to stick around for a minute? I think we're gonna have a resolution about, our stance on a bill that's in the House right now. Maybe you might wanna hear about it.
Okay.
Occupational tax. credit.
Maybe I need to leave.
Either way, but it's up to you, but that's on our discussion. If you wanna just hear maybe some of our viewpoints on it.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
And if you're not doing anything Monday morning, you'll come up for that meeting.
We're booking the meeting.
If you get through the floodwaters.
Well, I will say this, I got a meeting
Yeah.
in 3 counties Monday, for sure.
What we can do, we're
All
gonna,
about water infrastructure.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna use a little bit of a, I guess, mayoral priority. We're gonna skip around and we'll talk about the occupational tax resolution. So that's number 14 on your list, and I'll have to dig out my notes here. And this is, Jason Linden, you brought that to our attention, so why don't you go ahead and start that conversation?
This is in regards to, House Bill 253, that was brought forth for the House return to session. And what it is they're wanting to assist the state treasurer's office in modernization of occupational tax collection. We, as cities across this state, we would oppose this centralized collection of occupational tax. This bill is added governmental bureaucracy and would only complicate the process of collecting occupational taxes, which are a vital source of revenue for all of our cities and used to fund critical infrastructure as well as emergency services. In my opinion, it's kind of government overreach. Need some talking points on this. Centralized systems would shift fees to businesses, creating barriers to growth, reducing revenue from occupational taxes, primary funding source of many cities. Occupational taxpayers have the ability to use a single model filing form in most jurisdictions the local governments are required to accept. Cities would be forced to invest taxpayer money in new staff, technology to integrate with centralized system. Cities' revenue is limited already, which would increase, put more strain on budgets across cities of Kentucky. But those are some of my points that I wanted to point out about the occupational tax going to kind of through Frankfurt and down to us.
So I'll say this,
Are you familiar with that, Bill?
no,
No.
but I will say that, in some of the budget and some bills, things are unaware. And when you're reading thousands of bills, you tend to miss things.
Right.
I filed a bill already, it's 453, and that's a tax exempt for the churches. Who would ever thought that church was going to be taxed? Well, it's not publicly yet, but it's in there. And so there's certain things that slide by us when you're dealing with thousands of bills.
Right.
You try to tell people that, they think it's some other way.
Right.
But, so I'll say this, I'm not for any taxes on our people. And one of the things, if Brandon Farmer was here, he could tell you that, today when me and him was talking, one of the things I'm trying to do is help, our water and sewage, so our taxes won't go up in the city. And they're being forced to do that. So the reason I said that is I'm against the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want anyone here to think, because, you hear all kinds of stuff out there. And so I'll do whatever you guys need me to do. Mayor, if you guys want us to write something up, we'll put it in the house.
Yeah, Kentucky League of Cities already has it kind of in resolution form, and that's what kind of we are considering here tonight. And Brandon Farmer's right there.
We don't know the status of it.
Right.
It's still being in committee.
Right.
I've not heard any updates on it. It
No,
could still be in committee, or whatever, but a lot of cities are coming out, multiple cities across the state with resolutions against the state.
Listen, I would be for you. I'll be the first one to sign on with you. But the thing is, I don't think any of us up there is for taxes, but there are some things that's in there that we miss.
Yeah.
And it's not intentional.
Yeah, I think
Right,
this
right.
is a case of them collecting the tax on behalf of us.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
third party.
It's just
the middleman.
It's more bureaucracy, to go through to collect the tax.
It's taking money away from us, going to them.
Right,
And then coming back to us. But
and then coming back to us.
Yeah,
But their fee,
You're gonna have to
their
pay
fee for
third party.
collection.
Right.
But the county is opposed to it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, any other thoughts from the council? Okay, we have a motion to, for this resolution, and I'm thinking that the motion be opposed. So do we have a motion on this?
Just one reading, you don't have to have.
I second.
Are you making the motion?
Yeah, I'll
You
make a
make the
motion.
motion second on the motion? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Resolution is passed. Thank you, Bill, for saying that.
Thank you, Bill.
Hey, and I'll say this, I've tried to bring programs, I know that sometimes it takes a while getting up. The offers I've made in the past of city, county, I'll still help in any way I can. And you guys got my number, you guys will reach out, I'd love to have you guys come up for just a meeting, or whatever you guys are in need of. We'll sit down and talk to somebody in our administration, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Mr.
coming by.
Wesley, I've been trying to get a hold of you for 3 weeks. Can we speak out here? My name is Ruth Jones.
If it deals with marijuana, I'm against it.
Thank you. Question?
Okay. Is Ann here? Ann's coming. Okay, the next one is the second reading of the business license ordinance. From our last time, we were just adding different categories, right, Ann?
Yep, and Scott actually got that ready. Scott, do you want me to read it or do you want to?
No, I think you all got a list of all the
Yes,
additional
we
things
did.
that
Yeah.
we're gonna add to it along with the fees. What I did, took our old ordinance, added those to it.
Okay.
Made it a comprehensive, that way when we put it in place, we can just have one ordinance that we can hand everybody. So as I understand it, we did the first reading last month, is
Yes.
that correct?
This is
So if you wanna do the second reading, Mayor, it's ready for you to sign.
all right.
There was no changes, correct, from the first
The-
reading?
The only changes would have been,
That day permit, that was $25 that I had missed was the only difference for the
Are we
food.
allowed to make a content change on the
Yes.
first reading?
between the first and second reading, as long as it's substantially the same, you're okay to do so.
Gotcha. Okay.
Have a motion then to accept this, the second reading of the business license ordinance. Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? All right. And then you have a zone change?
Yes, so, I think it was put in your all's packets for Kevin Morton, forwarded you all, so Teresa Terry and her husband applied for a zone change. They split their property at 527 Furnace Road. They, split it into two different lots. The back part of the lot is gonna remain B2, the front part of the lot is, they're doing a zone change from B2 to R1 so they can run a short-term rental Airbnb. And the board recommended that to be approved and forwarded to you guys at our regular January meeting.
All right, do we have a motion to accept the zone change from B2 to R1? All right, got a second? All right, all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. And this number nine will be yours also, and proposed accessory building definition and text amendment to zoning ordinance.
Yes, so on behalf of the planning and zoning board and the board of adjustments at their request, they're asking for approval to move forward to amend the definition in the text of the planning and zoning ordinance to not allow any accessory buildings to be allowed as a residential structure or as a primary main physical structure as a standalone building on any lot. This would not allow accessory buildings to be used as a primary residence or used as a commercial capacity as a standalone building.
Any questions on that from the council?
And if I could on that, I've discussed that with Ann. What we need you all to do is make sure there's no opposition to it. What we're gonna do is amend the zoning ordinance and include that in it, and we'll bring the whole product back to you to do a first and second reading on it. We didn't wanna do it until we ran it past you, made sure that you all were agreeable to it.
We're just approving the amendment.
As long as you say you're okay with it, we'll get the paperwork together.
Do we not already have that, like, right now, like, as far as, like, living in buildings and stuff, or is that on business? or
Well, we put the
residential?
comprehensive plan.
The comprehensive plan needs to be inclusive to the planning and zoning ordinance, and right now it's not, so they need to be in conjunction,
Okay.
with each other. Right now, no, I mean, we have an issue right now ongoing where there is someone living in an accessory building and it was allowed, so,
But now we do have something that you gotta have electric and
yes,
sewer,
yes.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
water, electric.
How, what about the plan, and this may be getting out of the scope, but, people that are already established living in them, are they no longer be allowed to live in them, or will they be grandfathered in, or how are we gonna handle that, as I don't see anything?
Anything that was done prior to this ordinance would be grandfathered in. There is one particular case that we are, going to court with, so I don't know exactly what will happen with that one. But any other ones that have existed prior to this ordinance would be grandfathered in, other than that we've had controversy with.
Gotcha. I don't have an issue with, them getting together.
So basically, it's a motion to accept the amendment?
No, I guess, we just wanted to see if you had any questions, or if there was any opposition to it. Assuming that they're not, then we're good to go ahead and fix the paperwork up.
Just
We
think-
don't
and then
need to do
you,
anything.
you bring it to us next.
We'll get back to you.
Alright.
Where was this one, the 800 square feet, was that just a?
Well, I was gonna put that in there because that was kind of the recommendation, but then as I thought about it, there's certain garages, if you have a 3-story house, some of them are gonna be bigger than 800 square feet. I just think it'd be
easy for someone to come and contest that, so I took that back out.
Is this gonna go through like our planning and zoning board for studies and whatnot, or has it already?
All of that has already
That
been
kind of-
done.
I think it already has.
Our-
Eric,
They done a big bunch of changes, when the previous zoning administrator
Yeah.
was here, and this was the only thing that kinda seemed like it slipped through the cracks and that, you know, they wanted it updated, but they had already done that previously with
Yeah,
that.
we talked about a comprehensive plan.
and that's available in comprehensive plan. And I think, yeah, Ruth was involved in that too.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, number 10 is CSEP, and Eddie is going to address that with us. Eddie Barnes or Larry?
Well, I'm not sure what we're addressing. I brought the paperwork over and gave it to Teresa. You
Well,
all-
what we talked about?
Yeah, one of the things, we're looking at different ways of trying to, fund 911 center after CSEP goes out.
Correct.
And like we discussed today, the possibility of adding a fee onto the people's water bills. That would be Stanton, Clay City, and, Powell's Valley Water. The county just making an ordinance of $5, per water bill, and, go from there. We haven't got the exact number of, customers. Looking, if we do that, we're going to roughly bring in probably about $300,000. By bringing that $300,000 in, you know, it could cut down a little bit on what we're asking for you. And Larry, you know, you got anything else to?
It's that, the building on a yearly maintenance takes about $337,000, $339,000-ish to operate the building. That's no salaries or any equipment breakdowns. That's about what it takes to maintain the emergency services.
So if we bring in $300,000, you know, that can cut down what we're asking for, you know,
Okay.
a little bit.
And this will go directly to 911?
It'll go directly to 911, nothing else. No, it's not going to the general fund or anything like that. It's specifically for.
Now, has 911 been funded before?
Used to on landlines, but.
Well, yeah, it was landlines, now, you know, there's really no such thing as landlines anymore, so they've got a small, mobile phone fee, but that's it. And of course, CSEP, you know, CSEP paid for all the maintenance of the building and actually built the building and, paid for our communications and stuff, so, we got everything kind of up to date, a couple of years ago on the communication, so hopefully, you know, knock on wood, that, we won't have to do anything on communications for a while, but, you know, we need to be prepared just in case it does. And of course, communication's not cheap. The last round we went through, $500,000, right around $500,000, that we put in on just communications alone, so. We're still gonna need help, you know, I'm not saying we don't need help, but, it might ease up a little bit, you know, so, depending on what we collect.
I know one of the things we're starting is our budget process. We're starting now. We're already started on that, so we should have some pretty solid figures here in the next month or so.
And one of the things, you know, if you don't care to do is maintain what we're asking for,
Mhm.
and then we can always downgrade a little bit. But if you cut it down to, you know, say $20,000 and we need $50,000, you know, it's kind of hard to ask.
So basically asking for 2, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
2%?
No,
No.
2 people.
No, what percentage,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the tax is what I'm.
Let's just
No,
say
it's
five.
not, ours is not a tax, it's gonna be a fee.
Well, what's that
Yeah.
10%?
$5, well, it's $5 per.
It's not based on.
Yeah, it's not,
water.
yeah, it's not a percentage, it's just.
It's just
like
Each resident.
How many
flat
members
fee.
do we have, you know?
And that's the same, and we're mimicking that off of Madison County and Estill County.
Okay.
We've got Estill County ordinance, they collect through Estill County, so.
We'll be cutting.
Plus, we're looking at this year, that we're compliant with the state out of being Lincoln NCIC terminal. That will have a startup cost, you know, that's where all the, local entries will be made through the dispatch center for the Stanton Police Department, Sheriff's Office, and Clay City for any stolen items, any missing persons or anything like that. So we'll no longer be, connected to the state police to have to, be the burden of them to run all of our information.
And you speculate or estimate maybe 300,000 or 400,000 a year coming in
Well,
with the $5?
I'm guesstimating at the most of 300.
That's Clay City, Stanton.
That's everybody, Clay
House
City,
Valley.
yeah, Clay City, Stanton, and, House Valley.
Okay.
I have a question.
How many meters we got? I'm sorry.
Around 2,300.
2,300 for us.
I'm just kind of curious, just because it's kind of out of what I know about some of this stuff, but like, why the water bill as opposed to a fee on the yearly property tax bill?
Well,
One reason.
really, it doesn't, it's this versus that, both of them. One would be probably a percentage of the property bill versus us on the water bill is just a flat rate, just a flat fee.
On the property bill, would you have to have a hearing and everything on that if you put it on the property?
Or it's something new and not just
Yeah,
an increase.
I would say so.
Okay, versus you
On
could make a
average.
decision on the $5
Yeah,
without.
on ours, the only thing we have to do is make a county ordinance of it, and,
Yeah, so a little simpler.
yeah, that's a lot easier.
Do you have a suggestion?
Well, and you have,
No, I guess you've already explored other options, so you're saying whatever, so it could be,
Well,
it
that's
could be a
the easiest.
vehicle, a fee attached to that,
Well,
or,
no, we can't do a vehicle fee,
Okay.
we can't do electricity or anything like that, we've already talked to Clark Energy,
they won't.
but you
and
got,
it's in litigation right now with Clark Energy, not Clark Energy, but the co-op, and other places here in the
you
state,
said the two options.
basically, yes,
And our neighbors are doing it on their water bills?
yes,
They're doing it on the water.
Gotcha.
That's working out well for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
and they receive the money it's monthly.
Is there any negative feedback about it from the other counties?
Talking to Donnie Watson, no. And I think $5 is gonna be a lot cheaper than putting a percentage wise on, because if we put a percentage wise on property, if my property is $100,000 and yours is $800,000, you're gonna be paying more than I am.
Well, you could put just a set amount on every property tax, you wouldn't have to do it according to
Just a flat.
you could do a flat fee on it, like $50 on everybody's. But when you do the water, you do have people that rent,
Exactly.
that it's not just on property
Yeah,
owners.
it's on everybody that has
Yeah.
water. And you're right, it's not just property owners.
Well, nobody likes taxes or fees, or
Yeah.
nobody like is a proponent for that. But like we talked about last time with Larry, we thought that was probably the best option, was to go through that. Something that's sustainable
Yeah.
annually for you all and for all of us.
And the thing about it is, if we do property, say, just on David Baker's apartments, it would be one fee versus multiple fees.
Oh, okay. I see.
So all those renters aren't gonna be paying
Yeah,
any fees?
It'd be one major though, so,
No, I think their water is part of their rent, I don't think they
well, I'm
pay
just
their own
saying, he's
water.
one major.
Okay,
Got one meter.
so there would be one
Yeah.
bill and you can have 5
And like a
people
housing
that are
authority, we
not
got
paying
one
anything.
meter.
Really?
Yeah.
So large property owners are gonna pay $5. And
Compared,
somebody that's living on.
that
fixed
live, you're gonna
income
pay the same as
is gonna pay
rent.
So the
Yeah.
logistics
It's
on that
per
have to be
meter,
looked at,
not
Yeah.
per.
Oh,
to
yeah.
make it fair and
Yeah.
equitable.
I like it.
Well, you've got, I'm sure we got people still on cisterns and.
Right.
yeah.
Well, Airbnb is, that's the thing, is
They
probably, they don't have, some of them don't have water meters, so they're not gonna pay anything.
And that's the reason why, our infrastructure, we can't support it,
Right,
and that's the reason why.
so
we
they should
use
have,
it there.
so they should have some skin in the game there.
Yes, they should, everybody.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
goes, well, I can get started on the tourism part of it, there's a lot of, problems that we see on tourism versus homeowners, because, tourism, Airbnbs and stuff, they're not paying the taxes that they should be paying.
Especially people that don't live here that own property.
Everybody thinks that our transient taxes, we get our transient taxes, we don't, basically tourism sends us, the last time that we got a check, I think it was $42,000, 24 or 42, I forget. So we get it, we deposit, we turn around and send them a check back. We get nothing out of it. And that's my look too, is that's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard, but,
You're right.
and we can't take nothing out of it. So, but everybody thinks that we're making a lot of money.
So who's gonna be able to sit at the table and talk about all this?
Anybody that wants to come?
That's what I'm asking, I mean, is it just a county thing, can we come in,
Oh, yeah, no, I want everybody to come in.
be
Because
part of a
more-
regular meeting? or-
The
Will
more,
that- will
the
that
more
be at your-
people, yeah.
Will
the
that
more
be at your
people-
March meeting?
Yeah,
You
the
know,
more
if you're having a
people,
special meeting or if it's
Yeah.
a regular meeting.
yeah, well, we can, oh, yeah, anybody.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm all about transparency,
Yeah.
because the thing about it is, we talked about this, and, you may have a better idea than I have, and Billy may have a better idea than we have. And if we put all ideas together, and we may have one hell of an idea. Yes,
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm curious, where I live, we've never had city water up in that holler. We've all got systems.
Where do you live?
Johnny Morton.
yeah.
And I was just curious, what would ours, like, how would we be able to contribute if it's not gonna be on the water, like you said?
You can donate.
Well, I mean, I believe what you said, that everyone should have.
All donations are appreciated. But, one of the, and this was, I guess I need to go look at Madison County and Estill County, because they've,
I have those.
they,
Madison County, what they did, they put a committee together, and he has those, Eddie looked at those too. Madison County, like he was telling you, like your property tax, they looked at the size of the square footage of your house. That's how you paid the 911 fee. So if you had a 2,500 square foot house, they set the rate of that, what that fee would be. If you had a 1,500 square foot, it had a different one. So you was penalizing people there because of having the different sizes. We've got several options to look at. And like we talked today, that's just one of the options he's looking at, because Estill County was a neighboring county and they've already got it in place.
and it's easier,
Yeah, just the first I've heard about.
Oh, yeah,
It's easier, quicker, because we're gonna have to have something in place by July 1st.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. One way or another, we have to do something.
Is there any way to get, a tax fee or whatever on, cell phones? That's what everybody has now, cell phones.
Well, they get a little bit of money out of.
70 cents per phone.
Yeah.
Per phone.
Okay.
Who gets such a thing?
70 cents per phone. The 911 Services Board collects it. They send that in quarterly yes, me and Connie both get a quarterly report. Usually between 187 to 205 a year is what the 911 Services Board gives us in fees collected from the cell phone.
Cell phone, okay.
And that's the only fee that we.
That's the only fees we get. There's no tax money goes to that.
So we're still losing just by collecting that, because the annual, just the salaries alone are.
The dispatcher salaries without mine or Justin's, with no retirement or anything, is $287. That's based off of $15 per hour.
Is there a way that we could compare property versus, like?
Yeah, we
get
can
a
look
number?
at that.
You know, one of my big things is, of course, the Airbnbs, and I know
Yeah.
Larry knows this, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of calls when I'm listening to that scanner on weekends go to.
Oh, yeah.
And they're gonna be paying nothing for that 911.
Right.
Well, one of the
Exactly.
options they do, I mean, that's what, so this is not
Yeah.
set in stone.
Yeah, I'm
This
just, yeah,
is something
okay.
we're just throwing out
If
there.
we can look at
Hey,
that.
This is what we're looking at.
Well, yeah.
As far as tax bills, like.
And we definitely wanna work, with you on the
Yeah.
proposal.
I don't mean to drag it out, just real quick to piggyback on the end of that. Where we at on the 911 mapping to capture all those people that are up in?
What we do now, you come in to get an address, it's listed as Airbnb or if it's listed as residential, so those files are saved. So if you come in, you're gonna build 5 cabins, we've got an address ordinance, after you put more than 3 structures on one road, you have to name that
So we
road
can capture that information.
on the new builds.
Yeah.
But,
Not the old ones.
yeah, not the old
So
ones,
we're not,
but.
nobody's on doing the foot patrol up there.
We are, yeah, we've got a new mapping system that we take and drive around, it has its GPS built in, cell phone app, and it tracks those, so we turn those into the judge's office as well for the tag, or to buy the business license if you're out in the county. So, and like you asked about the property tax, I can show you that too. Danny Rogers mails out 9,000 tax bills and he collects 8,500.
Yeah, I just never heard this other route before, so I was
Yeah.
just curious.
It was just another option to bring
Yeah,
up.
we have a couple options.
$50 on that. If we put 5, it'd save $10, because we're paying 5 a month for the water, it'd be 60. If you could run something, it'd save $50.
I've got figures to run it at $5, $60 a year off of a tax bill, and $50 a year, what interests.
What are you gonna do in 10 years when $5 is not worth $5?
That's very
Right,
true,
that's the
that's
thing.
why.
And that's the reason property tax percentage would probably be the best bet.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I mean, it's gonna be, you can carry that forward as property values go up, your
Mhm.
percentage stays the same, but you continue to get more money.
But what we did with that, Chad, we put in this provision, if we use the tax bill, that we'll revisit it in 5 years as the population grows. That way, every time the property sells and divides up and becomes a subdivision, that's another 911 fee you'll collect that year, because they have to file in the PVA.
And be honest with you, that's the reason why we're into this mess right now, is because, the governments in the past have not looked at what's gonna happen in 5 years, what's gonna happen in 10 years, what's gonna happen in 20 years. It's basically, they were trying to live day to day, and, you know, I ain't gonna get into the political part of it. But, you know, they did a disservice to the community.
I agree with you guys, it's necessary. I just like to see all the different options in front of me, so I can kind of weigh them.
And I may
That's why
show
when I
you
make
from
decisions,
some of them that I had, I have them, I've had them for
if
some
y'all
time.
just give them
You did.
to us and let us look over them, that's all I ask, just so we make a good decision.
And again, like I said, we're just beginning our budget process, so they really be helpful to us.
And that's the reason why I say, you know, leave our, what we're asking for.
Leave it
in.
on, leave it on.
And then if we can reduce it, we'll reduce it, if not, that's what we need.
Okay, thank you so much. Next is our lawn care bids. We had 6 bids come in. I'm recommending Jesse's Lawn Care, as for 25-26 years. Have a motion on that? Second? All right, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? Next one?
Sorry, can I ask what the cost is on that? Am I allowed? It comes out of the park
Yeah,
budget.
it's, you got 825?
$8.25. The park's actually $25 cheaper this year. We went down on the park.
Is that the total cost, 825 or?
Each cut,
Each cut.
each
Oh,
cut.
so it went down.
Yeah, it went down. $8.50 to $8.25.
Yeah, that's all 4 bids
Again,
together, and that's a total.
It was
Per cup.
$8.25, but $8.50, I think.
I think it was 1,050.
Maybe, yeah.
That's what we paid.
Yeah,
1,050.
so it's $8.25 this year.
Well, we paid maybe in a month, so. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Number 12 is the motion to appoint Danielle Trent to the Parks and Rec Board. Motion on that, all right, second? All in favor? Any opposed? Good.
I like to compliment our Parks Board. I went to the last year of their meeting, and they're just doing awesome. Just really impressed with our Parks Board. They're putting a lot of effort into our parks.
Doing a good job, absolutely.
Number 13 is to motion to appoint Tara Wills to Planning and Zoning Board. Have a motion on that? All right, second? Any
Second.
opposed? I mean, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Then we'll jump down to the Employee Educational Incentive Proposal. I think that came from you, didn't we?
I did.
We tabled that from our last meeting. Anything you want to add to that, or anything? I think we talked about having a workshop.
I'm trying to figure out the.
That'll be within the next month or two. We can figure out that budget wise what we can.
I don't have anything to update on it. I still kind of stand with what I presented. I'm mainly just looking for feedback from other council members and maybe working with everybody to try to get
I
some.
think we just need to look at
employees.
the amount of dollars and.
Right.
See if that-
We need to do some math on it.
Yeah.
What we'll do, I'll have Tricia send out an email, and we'll get us a date now, okay?
Do a workshop.
Yep. The next, what's next? Number 16, a discussion on an issue that has been kind of ongoing over the years, and that is safety along Highway 11 and 15 for those who walk through there. So one of the things we want to do tonight is just kind of look at maybe some possible solutions. So I'm going to turn it over here to you if you can go ahead and kind of update
Yeah, I'll
us.
just kind of go along with it. So, kind of following along on social media. Of course, I was a police officer for years, so I've seen the problem firsthand. But, you know, and I'm sure maybe everybody in here potentially has driven down, particularly in East College Avenue, but it's all over town, that, you know, we're kind of hindered with sidewalks and, you know, we have pedestrians walking on the roadway and, after dark, and it's dangerous. Somebody's gonna get hurt or killed there. So in response to that, obviously I'll preface by saying that a sidewalk is the ultimate solution through there. However, it is a state highway. It's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that even if we had the funding, we can't put a sidewalk on a state highway. So we're kind of at the mercy of the state, so
We have to work with the state.
I'm trying to come out of the box. I have a proposal. I think some of the other council members may have some other proposals too. I know Tommy got back with me with a good idea. But my proposal is an ordinance, and that may sound a little rough at first, but I'd like to explain it. So currently there are state laws under KRS 189.570, which does define some requirements for pedestrians walking on a roadway. Such as if a sidewalk is available, you must use it. It governs if a sidewalk is not available, you must walk on a side of the road or the other end of traffic. So there already is some laws governing it. This would only add the requirement in the city limits for them to be visible. And defining visibility, I have it defined as reflective clothing or accessories, vests, bands, or patches, flashlights or other handheld light sources, reflectors attached to clothing or certain lines. So when we get into that, I personally think that this probably should be added into that state law statute, but again, we don't have no control over it. I'm looking for using tools that we have as a city and giving maybe our police a little bit of a backbone to, you know, get out with people and talk to them, educate them, and whatnot. And this may not be the solution that we need to do at this point. This is a little severe, you know. Obviously, you know, we're making a law that tells somebody they have to do something. So there may be some other like social programs that we can maybe implement or stuff. You know, Tommy had an idea of us maybe funding and you know, giving out vests. Either, you know, we create a program amongst ourselves where we maybe buy so many vests, give them to our police officers, encourage them to give them out. And then maybe come back to this ordinance if that doesn't work. Maybe try a little least restrictive thing first. I'm good with whatever. I'm just trying to respond. I had some people send me some ideas from some ordinances from other states that already do this. And I just wanted to present something to everybody, let everybody know that that's possible, that we could do an ordinance and come up with that. And I'll turn it over to like Tom and maybe talk about some of the other stuff we might have to do.
We'll let the council.
Yeah, everybody can maybe get some input if anybody has
Jason, we'll
ideas.
start with you. Anything?
I think it's a great idea because, I mean, the reflective vests or whatever we decide to go with, it's definitely something that has needed addressed for a long time. I mean, like you said, sidewalks, the best answer, but in the meantime, we need to do something because it's dangerous as all get out. Driving down, East College Avenue and pitch black dark, it's about, I've been scared several times driving down through there. So I'll work to do whatever the majority likes.
Larry?
I agree with this. Give people vests to wear it's reflective.
Now, here's my thing. I'm all for people being safe and all that, but as far as forcing somebody to do that, especially if you're talking about out my way, out 15, you have a lot of people that don't have the means, the money to buy, and we should say we could give it to them, but whether they're gonna be able to keep up with that, we give them a vest, and who knows where they're gonna be when they start walking. I mean, you take people that don't have the money, extra money to do that, and then I'm all for the police even seeing them and stopping and saying, hey, we can't see you, you want a vest, something like that, but actually requiring people, I don't know. I just think you're putting an extra burden on people that may not have that, you know, the money. Cause there's a lot of people up on the airport behind me that work, and they walk up to McDonald's, Hardee's, and, even older people, usually they're not out after dark so much, but still, you know, or even people from over at Dave Baker's apartments or whatever they're called now, just going to Save-A-Lot, you know, and having to have that on and, you know, so, you know, I don't know about making it a requirement. I think, like you say, maybe educating people and doing some kind of, you know, I don't know what do you think about police having vests and stopping and handing them out?
I've talked to a few y'all about it a little bit. I don't have a problem. I mean, whatever y'all require, if you want to hand out vests, I'm going to do it. As far as, and I've talked to some of the legalities of stopping somebody from not wearing a vest. Even, I mean, there's nothing that we can't stop and talk to them if they don't want to talk to us. If they do,
Yeah.
you know, kick rocks and keep walking. There's nothing we're going to be able to do legally unless there is a city ordinance.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And if you see somebody being reckless, you see 4 kids walking side by side down,
Yeah,
you know,
but
down the road.
that you're going a whole different thing there.
Yes.
You're already going into something, but even like doing something with the KRS as far as that goes, it'd be a side for me.
Yeah.
Reflect a vest.
And I don't know if there's any, are there any towns in Kentucky that require that?
I
Is there anybody?
I did some basic research. I've seen some stuff from other states. But I didn't see anything in Kentucky. We may need a pilot for it if that was the case, and it may eventually become a state law. I'm not sure, maybe why it's not. Maybe there's a reason. I don't know. Scott, have you looked into it any at all?
No, I haven't, I don't think I've been called on to look at this, but I think it'd be difficult to enforce any ordinance that mandates that people wear a vest. I just think that would be difficult. I'm not saying it can't happen. You know, like I said, I've not looked into it, but I'm just curious, are there not laws in place right now that prohibit people from walking in the middle of a state highway?
So there is, and that's, and if they're they're in the middle of it or they're on the wrong side, then our ordinance wouldn't matter. The state law would supersede our ordinance.
The other problem I see is, you know, like last night I was driving down, was it Halls Lane, by the city park as you're going to it? And there was a person right out in the middle of the road. I was like, and you know, kind of veered over, and then that was it. And I was past him. And the same way with this ordinance, even if we passed it, most of the time somebody's in the middle of the road, unless you're a police officer and you come up on them, you know, you're not going to be able to enforce it. It's not like I'm going to say, hey, I saw some random person out in the road, and by the time you get there, they're gone. So I hate people being in the road, and I've seen it before, and I myself, I've seen other people almost be involved in a lot of accidents when you come around the curve, or you're driving at night. And I remember one time, you know, you can be out at midnight and come up over a hill, and there'll be 3 people walking right in the middle of the road, you know, and until your lights hit them, you don't know. And they do a lot of things that are not logical a lot of times, but as far as putting something in place and passing something to actually prohibit that conduct, it's difficult on a number of levels. Like I said, constitutionally, you could run into some issues, and then just really, you got to be there. You got to be officer of the ball there when it happens in order to stop it.
So I have a response to that, and obviously I'm open to try other programs. I'm not fighting hard for the ordinance. It's just a solution I'm bringing to the table, but it's similar to a seatbelt. Most people wear a seatbelt because they don't want a ticket. You know, if there was some type of law saying that you had to be visible, then maybe people would be visible. I think you kind of compare it to that. And you know, bicycles are regulated. You can't ride a bicycle at dark without some type of lighting or reflector. You can't drive your vehicle without headlights or taillights. I'm kind of surprised that that you can walk on the road without some type of visibility. But that's kind of just my kind of point of it. But I'm obviously not pushing hard for it. I just want it to be on the table. You know, I feel like I've done my part. I've brought something to everybody, and how we can talk about it. And go on.
Can I let them say something?
Let's
Okay, go ahead.
let me get,
Federal governments.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Emily, I was gonna ask, where I live, going up toward church, I'm sure you've seen it, when you head to church every Sunday during the spring. I'm all for staying fit and fitness up past your house. How many times at night or during the morning have you seen bike riders going like side by side on both sides of the road. Is there like a fine for that? Can they get in trouble? Cause they will not get over, you can get behind them. They will not pull over. I don't know if you got in their AirPods, jam out when they're cycling.
Well, they have the same right as a car, don't they?
Yeah, we have to share the road.
Same.
Mark? Mark?
Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I like the idea of keeping people safe. I spent my entire adult life, what Billy did, just a few years more. And, enforcing not just KRS 189-570, but all the statutes, all the constitutional amendments. The 189-570, sections 12, 13, 14, and he's right. It outlines with a sidewalk, without a sidewalk, what pedestrians are required to do by state law. Does not have a vest in there. I'm like him. Maybe they should have stuck a vest in there. You have to wear a vest after hours or at night. I don't know, but it's not in there. Obviously, and he's right, Billy's right. We can create an ordinance in this city for anything we want to create an ordinance in. But I would never be a proponent of creating an ordinance that would take away the liberties of anybody in this town. And to require them to do something that they should have a choice to do, I would not be for it. I am for education, some kind of safety, whatever that we can do. I think Tommy had a great idea. I'll let him speak in a minute. Another option, I've talked to the chief about it, some other options available. But I think it's very restrictive, and I had this thing in my mind. I was thinking, if we did that, the ordinance doesn't apply to East College Avenue. It would apply to everyone in the city limits, regardless of where you live at. So if Councilman Allen wants to go to Councilman Mays' house and walk past the city police officer Ian Morton's house, and he doesn't have his vest on, there's no sidewalk, Ian Morton's going to write him a ticket.
That's true.
Right.
So I'm concerned about overreach on our part. I don't wanna make a less impact of what he's trying to do, and I agree with that. I have a sidewalk in front of my house on West College Avenue, and those kids are playing, adults are playing, they run, they jog, and it's right against the busy road and they fly. Now, without the sidewalk, which is what our best option is, we don't know if that'll be 10 years from now.
Right.
But they still have to use common sense when they walk around. And we have a lot of people jogging and walking around this town. And I don't want to be that person to vote against them having that choice. They should have common sense. They should have adults telling them, if they're younger, how they need to be wearing right clothing or whatever the initiative's going to be that we can talk about. But with that being said, I like his idea, but I don't like an ordinance per se to restrict people their right to move about without having the choice. When we picked up litter, we all did. We picked up litter last year and stuff, and we had a choice to put on that vest or not. I mean, we encouraged it, of course, and I put it on because I wanted to wear it next to the road picking up garbage. But I had that choice, and I appreciate having that choice.
What about
It's after dark.
if we do some kind of educational type deal with that and push that, and in doing that educational safety course or whatever, we obtain and hand out vests.
That's kind
Of course,
yeah.
Yeah.
people may lose them, and
Yeah.
of course, but
My
I
idea
mean,
with that and to push a social, a lot of people have social media, they get free phones even though they don't. Push that education and then say they can come down here. Like I said, granting them can carry 3 or 4 in their cruisers if they see somebody.
Just
Explain to them this, you can get killed, use this vest. They won't have to, but we can offer it.
right.
I mean, I don't, it's to the point, like somebody said, common sense, sometimes you have to look out your own safety, I hate to say that, but that comes to that point, and if we offer all that, I think that's better than doing nothing about it, and I think it's,
Yeah, I feel like we should do something.
Of course, I've been gone a long time, or was gone a long time. Has anything ever been done along this line?
Probably just waiting on the sidewalk.
No?
It's-
Has anything filed for a grant?
Yeah.
Through the Kentucky Department of Transportation. They
For
have a state
sidewalk?
grant, Yeah.
Yeah, it's a state road though.
Dale.
No, I talked,
It's a state project. It's a
Yeah, but
state,
it would cost
grant.
us more than we could afford.
I talked to Cottle already about the sidewalk. And, I got an estimate, you know, what it would basically cost. But you have to work with the state, they're engineers, I mean, just look at some of the roads that we have and how long it's taken just to get to that point.
Was it an 80-20 split you said?
Yeah, there's a TAP, that's the grants, and it's an 80-20, 80% state pays, and we pay the 20%. So if it's a $2 million project, you can see what we're gonna have to come up with $400,000 on our part.
Well, we do have the project that is going by Whitaker Bank and then on around that way that is putting in a sidewalk there.
Yes,
So.
that's a
so that's-
state project.
And that's a state project, so
Correct.
we have been addressing some of it.
And the thing about
A
the
lot more needs to
sidewalk
be
on
Yeah.
College is the, you know, just how you get that in. I mean, because like my house is there and my yard is 4 foot lower than the road.
Take all the dirt and pile, got it.
Yeah.
Let's do something simple and help pedestrians and everybody in town, all of us live out there. He lives out there, he's, Mark did, had a bad wreck right in front of his place. And there's one right in front of my house this past year, bad wreck. And if we can lower the speed limit, it'll help more the pedestrians and everybody out there where you can get in and out of the road.
Yeah, I
Now,
think,
that ain't a good suggestion,
Yeah.
and the state will do that if you all work hard enough at it.
yeah, I
You
think
can get it done.
our focus here is on obviously the educational part, or at least, you know, somehow public safety, but education is one thing I keep hearing, is that correct? Or some kind of awareness?
Public safety
Public
type
safety.
Yeah,
When you see them go by your house at 60 miles an hour every few minutes, going flying down through it, and I can look up the parkway, they're doing 70 on the parkway, and the one on 15 is going as fast as they are up there. Right hand, I'll tell you that.
Got a question for Tommy and maybe the mayor. Do we have the money to do that now?
Yeah.
Or do we need to wait till our next budget to just get
I-
a,
Some kind of,
pilot?
I think we do a pilot and buy,
Even if we buy 40, 50 beds.
yeah,
or 20
25, 50 something.
Let our police get them out.
And I think we get our social media page saying, hey, if you want this road,
Promote
you
it.
want some.
Yeah.
If we get
The
the
safety
safety.
And we could actually go into some of the areas too, and hand out literature and stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, something else, I know that, like FBLA and the high school, they do a lot of projects.
That's true.
So they could do, like the media team at the high school or
That's true.
whatever, get some kids to put together
Because there's a lot
a
of high
video
schoolers.
and an awareness program, and that, they would get credit for that, for FBLA or a project. They're always looking for stuff like that. That may be something to look at.
Because down where we live, they walk from school all the way down to, where the sewer plant is, you know, and they're right in the middle of Hall's Lane once they run out of sidewalk. So that, there's a lot of students walk home and drive, you know.
Right.
Well, I just keep thinking about
They
like,
walk home there today.
this would impacted me when I was first.
Well, early morning,
Early
in the
morning.
fall.
Yeah,
you know, it's
it's
dark.
Dark, yeah.
I was thinking about trick or treating this last time, and, you know, Maple Street
Okay.
is unpassable with people in the road. I
You can't
mean,
get out there.
obviously, to require everyone to do that,
Needs to be closed down while they trick or treat.
yeah, we may have to start closing roads, cause that was crazy.
Maybe we can do it.
I
There was a
think,
list of exemptions, and I think
yeah, there
that
has
was
to be
covered,
something.
that was covered under the exemptions.
One more thing, then I'll have a question.
So Carhartt makes vests like that, and I can check and see what
What's
they
that?
would do. Carhartt,
Oh, the vest?
yeah,
Okay.
they make vests, we make vests like that, so I
I
can
know the
check and
county
see.
has got.
Maybe something they could donate.
That'd be great.
Ooh,
Yeah, that'd be-
And we could
You
work,
got Carhartt on there.
mention them
yeah.
in our education, art supplies.
So I think the key question now is who's going to lead this?
I think you have to, unfortunately, or delegate to somebody, it's a day-to-day.
Congratulations.
We give you the money to do it, but yeah, congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you so much.
But,
Well,
I mean,
we'll
we're willing,
talk.
yeah, we're willing.
all right, anything else from the council on this particular subject? Thank you, we appreciate so much on that. Okay, next one is a lighting on a couple of our highways here. Kentucky 213 near the industrial park. The city is going to expand that particular road, and they're going to put a sidewalk, and then they're going to take care of the bases, the conduits, and the junction boxes. And they come to us and ask us to do the lighting. And you can see from the picture, it's a what is it, a Cobra? Yeah, a Cobra type of light.
It's kind of what, when you call Clark, is what they put up now. It's
Okay. So so that's on 213, 15 there, and then on Kentucky 11 in front of the new schools, and current schools are asking also us to do 15 there. They gave us kind of an estimate, about $3,000 per pole, of course, and then the luminary, $3,200, so about $48,000 in material costs. I had John Kuntz give us kind of an estimate as to the wiring and, you know, the labor and the stuff, and he came in and gave it just an estimate about 14,000. So you put 48 and 14 together, we have about 62,000. So let's just say 65,000. So,
And when will those, how long will that?
okay, the one on 213, and I think Eddie can back this up. It's going to be the first one that we'll do. The one on Kentucky 11 starts in June of 26 and ends in June of 28. So we won't be responsible to that until 28. But we need to, this needs to go to the designer
Yeah.
and put it into the design, and we need to let them know whether we're going to do it or not.
Do we need to earmark money in our budget, or how?
Well, we've got, you know, think of the LGA.
LG&A.
And also our municipal road aid, so we would be able to cover this one, the first one.
Yeah.
That's their.
It'll be at the end, remember, it's at the end when we do all the lights.
UPS.
It'll go
towards
past,
UPS.
will it go all the way?
So the industrial park go down to Sun Road, at the end of Sun Road, because they,
Toward you, yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
toward
yeah.
UPS.
Cause that's industrial park 2 behind me.
Industrial park, they wanna develop that, Eddie?
Yes.
Right, correct?
Yeah.
We need a resolution to commit to,
We need a motion for this. We need a
It's a
motion to
motion.
move ahead with the lighting for Kentucky 213 and Kentucky 11.
Yeah, the motion to let Willie send in the,
I'll just let them know, yeah, I know the project manager, so I'll let them know. Have a motion on that?
Make a motion.
Okay, second. All right, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. Okay, the next one is our Red River wastewater, invoice. And we got a little bit of a shock that came to us, but most of you should have the information on that. We have, some, payments that are past due. And so we're going to need to, go ahead and get those paid. And, we're looking at, I talked to Teresa today, we looked at some of the numbers, and we may have to do something with the budget, Tommy, on this also. We're looking to make this up with, a payment of $5,000, per month beyond what our normal bill is. Any questions or?
are we paying any late fees or interest on that, or are they just paying?
No, it's it's just a straight out, whatever, you know.
And my understanding is at some point, we just did, over the years, we were short on paying them.
That is correct.
I think one of the problems why it wasn't so glaring to everybody is that there never was a past due on an invoice.
They never,
Oh,
So, you know,
never indicated.
never indicated this
It was
past due,
behind.
like, so it just kept,
But Teresa calculates, you pulled the
yeah.
the invoices and the payments, and we're legitimately short from paying them. So the right thing to do is to pay them.
All
Pay
the,
them,
all
yeah.
the
We have to
invoices
pay
are
them.
right here if you want to see them.
No.
Do you have all the invoices?
Yeah, we got everything.
I do have a question on the one that's 71,000 on the first.
What year is that?
That's this year, like,
This year?
yeah, like, no, last year, I'm sorry, 1/5/24, January. I mean, that's $20-some thousand higher than we've ever paid. I don't know.
This January's was 60-some thousand.
Okay. I didn't know if we had huge leaks. I mean,
We've got lots of leaks everywhere, we can't detect them because there's water everywhere.
I just wanna make sure that in their calculation, they didn't add a past two
No,
to that, to make it 20.
no, the numbers are,
Cause on all these pages, this is,
I have a question.
sure.
Could this have possibly been averted if you had like a monthly report from the water department on what's going on? I mean, they do a fiscal court, everybody that is part of a department comes in and gives a report where we are on that. If we had water department in here once a month giving a report to you, a direct report, this wouldn't have went on this
Well,
month.
but
Right.
Red River Waste isn't really, I mean, it's not our,
For third party.
yeah, it's a third party, it's
But
a,
even if they're a third party, they should still have to report on what they're doing.
Well, it would've been simple if they just said past due,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
that-
if
and
that
this
would
is
be-
from years ago,
If,
so.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but unfortunately, because nothing was done, they
Yeah.
never come in and make a report to anybody.
Yeah.
This went on that long until it's a blooming mess.
Dallas is really, really good, Dallas, they're current,
Then it'd be nice to have a report every month,
So
wouldn't it?
we don't think this will happen again, presumably.
no.
well, as you can see, the last year or so,
2 years we've been right
everything
on,
we've been invoiced, we've
yeah,
paid.
invoice and paid,
So
we don't anticipate a
that's the
problem.
key, whatever we invoice, we don't pay
Okay,
them.
we have a motion to go ahead and get that started,
We
paying.
probably need an agreed amount in that, a monthly,
5,000.
is it gonna be five?
Yeah. All right, a motion, all right, second, all right, all in favor? All right, any in favor, any opposed? All right, motion carries. Then you have year-to-date budget. And there you have, in the 7 months we've been at it. You should be at 58.3% for the budget, and that way you'll be able to kind of know where we're at, above or beyond that.
I think a couple things we might need to amend,
Okay,
the tourism wages.
where's it at, huh?
We were paying and they were paying us. Is that, currently they're paying, it's coming right out of their account, right?
Yeah, they pay that.
So we've got it, it's coming in and an expense.
On page 2 at the bottom,
The first one is the expense on the first page under.
I got it, page 2 at the bottom,
Well, that's the, you're looking at
I'm not looking at it.
income, I'm looking
No.
at expenses.
No, this is
so-
expense, yeah, I meant expense on page 2.
If you look
It says
here,
40,000 or, oh, you're up there,
director wages
4049 on the first page.
or income, they were paying us to pay the,
oh, okay, gotcha.
we need to take that 40. Looks like we only done it like one time
Yeah.
this year, so let's
Okay,
make that 1188 the budget and,
you got it, I see it,
We can do an ordinance for next meeting. and then-
yeah, we'll have to
do
do
that.
that next
What
meeting.
level of detail, because I noticed on the audit that was some of the things about amending our budget, what level, are we amending line items for
Yes.
each thing?
Yes.
Because I noticed that some departments, they're still good in their overall budget, but they have extended over certain
The-
line items.
The problem with the budget, in my experience here, is you get some of these bigger numbers and you really don't know how much you're gonna be under or over until that last. And by then, you can't amend that budget, so I think it's kind of impossible to say that you can get this budget 100%. So they're still gonna write us up, in my opinion, they're still gonna be writing us up because you say the water bill is, let's say it's 50,000 under. We wouldn't know that till that last month to amend it.
But some of the stuff that's already went over, like, even though they have the money in another category, should we be moving that on a large scale? That's kind of what we did at the library, you know, if we moved it over. Like, for example, defense volume. I don't want to pick on this, but, there is a department expense. They spent 34,431. Yeah, but they obviously have money in other areas that we can deduct it from. But it's like $19,000 over, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's a good reason for it, but should we be amending that stuff?
Yeah, we-
I think we need to, like with a month or two left,
Yeah.
Go over it, get it balanced.
Just like we did
because
that.
there's some payments, not the police, but there's some payments that will be a 30,000 here, and she may not pay until 70,000 back that month.
I
So-
understand, right,
If you remember, I think we did.
But I think if we do that like 2 months
Right. That's the
prior
way,
to the year end,
Yeah.
we start amending, I think that's when you start. Because it very well could change, they could spend that.
and that's
stuff
what
in
we
their
did
expense.
last year, 2 or 3 months.
We done like 8 or 10 the last.
Yeah, we did that.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
anything we see prior to that,
Yeah, so we can mark it.
it's best to get it.
You have something else, sir?
Maybe I did have 2, I had 3 more. Well, the 2 was income and
Extend.
expense is what I did.
All right, anybody else? Council, got a motion to accept the year-to-date budget? All right, second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Have a motion for adjournment. All right, second. All in favor? All right, any opposed? Thank you all so much.
Let me ask you, what did you think about us changing the meetings to 6
Yeah,
o'clock?
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.